We are now just hours away from President Biden's second State of the Union address here on Capitol Hill. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says while the president has, quote, accomplishments to discuss tonight, he says that Republicans are only offering the American people, quote, rhetoric.
So Republicans are stuck. They can't govern. They can't agree on anything. Instead, they're focused on political theater. They don't do any. They're not trying to do anything real. And we hope they won't continue to do this on something as important as the surveillance balloon.
Minority Leader Mitch McConnell joins me now exclusively. Leader McConnell, always good to have you with us. Thanks for coming by today. So you heard Chuck Schumer there, the Senate Majority Leader, say that, you know, they're going to talk about accomplishments tonight, and all you folks ever want to talk about is just rhetoric.
Well, the House Republicans who are setting the agenda have been quite busy passing legislation. It's been the Senate, actually, for a month now, that's done virtually nothing. So I'm curious as to what Senator Schumer may have in mind for us to do.
So since you bring up the House, Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker, I should say, says that he wants to see spending cut in exchange for the debt ceiling. He said, you know, there are ways that you can start to touch some of these areas without touching some of the ones that are more difficult politically, maybe, to begin that process. Are you on board with him on that?
I am. Actually, Joe Biden and I did this back in 2011. He was delegated by the president to deal with me as the leader of my party in the Senate. We negotiated the Budget Control Act, which actually reduced spending for 2 years in a row for the first time since right after the Korean War. So the president knows that he himself has a history of negotiating in connection with the debt ceiling. So I think what the Speaker is asking him to do is not unreasonable and certainly within precedent.
So you recently moved Senator Scott and Senator Lee off of the Commerce Committee. And here's what Senator Rick Scott of Florida said about his attitude about that. Watch this.
I'm going to keep doing my job. So I put out a plan. You know, he completely opposed me putting out a plan. I believe that everybody up here, this is not a Republican or Democrat issue. We all ought to be putting out our ideas and fight over ideas up here.
So what do you say to Senator Scott, and why did you remove him and Senator Lee from
he
that
had
committee?
A temporary assignment on the committee, the way we do things, for 2 years. He could have traded in one of his permanent committees for commerce and stayed on it. He had a temporary assignment. There were others who wanted it, and I gave it to 2 other senators. No particular reprisal in mind. I had no animus toward Rick Scott at all.
He says it's because he ran against you for leadership.
Well, that's just not true.
So, and he also says that he's, you know, has the most business background of anybody on the committee, and that he believes he deserves to be there. But you're saying he had the opportunity to stay if he wanted to? He
could have picked that as one of his 2 main committees. There were others who wanted a temporary assignment on commerce in addition to him. I ended up giving it to Senator Capito and Senator Lummis, both of whom I think would argue that they, too, could be good members of the Commerce Committee.
All right, let me go back to this Chinese spy craft, spy balloon, whatever you want to call it. The Wall Street Journal today, sort of with tongue-in-cheek on the editorial page, says, seen any other spy balloons lately? An $850 billion defense budget, and we can't detect a Chinese airship. We're now learning that there were, and let's put up this map, 10 similar Chinese spy flights that made it into American territorial waters, all the way from Guam to South Carolina, and then one is in Latin America. Is this acceptable?
Look, I'm one of the gang of 8, one of 8 people entitled to know virtually everything in the intelligence field. I'd never heard anything about this. And regardless of whether we knew about it in the past, let's just focus on what did happen last week. It seems to me hard to explain why you would let this balloon beginning in the Aleutian Islands, lots of open space, not many people below, Alaska, Canada, and wait until it got into the Atlantic Ocean after surveying all of American territory to shoot it down. I mean, we have lots of questions to ask, not only why did you not know this has happened in the past, but why did you deal with this the way you did? I was looking at a survey this morning that said only 13% of the American people thought the State of the Union was strong. This is the kind of weak reaction, coupled with things like withdrawing from Afghanistan, that haphazard way that we did that in 2021, that leave the American people with the impression that the country's not doing well. Raging crime, open borders, inflation going through the roof. No wonder only 13% of the American people think the state of our economy is strong.
Yep, and only about 37% think that the president should run again, and that's Democrats and independents. But he seems to feel going into tonight that he's in great shape. Post-midterms, that turned out better than he expected, and he's expected to go up there tonight and tout his accomplishments.
Well, that's what you would expect him to do, and the American people to get to decide in 2024 once we know what the choice is, which direction they want to take.
Do you think Trump and Biden will both run again?
Well, President Trump is running. I think it'll be very competitive for the Republican nomination. If President Biden decides he wants the nomination, I'm sure he'll get it.
Senator McConnell, leader, thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.